Rob?
Hello everyone, welcome to Rob's Rogues in the Batman Universe.net, and today, you know what we're taking a look at if you've been watching Facebook at all or other people in message boards. This is the DC Comics Multiverse Batman the Dark Knight Robin, aka Carrie Kelly, with the Collect and Connect Doomsday. And you're probably already guessing, hey Rob, where did you pick this up? I picked it up at Walmart. Hey Rob, how much did you pay for this? $5 foot long? Yes, $5. For whatever reason, a lot of Walmarts across the country, when they received this wave in, they're marking them as clearance already when they're hitting the shelves. So it's probably due to the fact that Walmart is sitting on a lot of DC Comics Multiverse figures from Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, you have the Arrow and the Flash, and all of those other Multiverse. So this wave instantly got marked down, and I was lucky enough to find 4 of them. Now, I have 3 actual figures. I've got a duplicate of one. A couple of the other rogues from the Rogue Show said, hey, if you happen to find one. Once I had gone to a store, I said, hey, I'm starting to find them. So I was able to pick up a couple of them for some other members of the Rogue Show. So very, very happy to get this, and I cannot wait. It's getting a little bit closer. I cannot wait to get this opened up. And for $5, you can't beat it. And of course, the package is really, you know, wobbly and top heavy in one section, just due to the way that they packaged it. Same packaging as before. Initially, Robin was really the only figure that I was really looking for, other than Lex Luthor in the prison suit from Batman vs. Superman. So those were the 2 figures that I was really after. And once I saw the armored Batman, which I do have, I thought, if he rings up $5, I'll pick him up. So I picked up the armored Batman, which I haven't reviewed yet. There was a second one there. I contacted Automatica. She wanted one. And then I decided, well, I'm running it across town because I think they just got a new case in. And by the time I got there, there were only 2 other figures, and that was Doomsday, Superman, and another, and then the Carrie Kelly Robin. So I forgot which one I was doing. So I was very, very happy to get one of the figures here. The other side of the box says, if it won't flip over, says, I knew it wasn't going to stay. Real name, Carrie Kelly, basis of operations, Gotham City, 13-year-old girl who distracts the mutant leader to help save Batman and later becomes his partner. The other figures in the wave is armored Batman, Carrie Kelly Robin, prisoned Lex Luthor from Batman vs. Superman, Melissa Benoist, CBS, now CW, Supergirl. We have the mutant leader from The Dark Knight Returns, and New 52, Doomsday, doomed Superman, and buy all of them, hopefully still for $5, and you can put together the Collect and Connect. Boy, remember those days from Mattel, the New 52 Doomsday. So I've always kind of wanted a Doomsday, so if I can continue to find the rest of this wave for $5, heck yeah. All 6 figures, basically $30 to get all 6 figures, plus a Collect and Connect. You better believe I'll do that all day long. So the figures that I have personally for myself right now are Batman and Robin. Like I said, I have another Batman and Doomsday Superman I'll be sending to Stu and Olivia respectively. So I haven't seen Lex, Supergirl, or the Mutant Leader yet. I myself then will need Superman myself. So if all I end up getting is Batman and Superman and hopefully Lex, I'll be happy. But man, I'd really like to try and track down the other 3. So we won't be wasting any more time in the video. That was probably a long story. I won't repeat it for Batman's. So let's get into the Dark Knight Returns Robin, aka Carrie Kelly. $5, can you believe that? Alright, we've got the Dark Knight Returns Carrie Kelly out of package, and I really, really like this figure. Before we get to the figure part of the review, let's take a look at the Collect and Connect piece. that she comes with. The right leg, excuse me, the left leg, I'm looking at it this way, the left leg of Doomsday. And you can see that, I know Carrie is really small, but you can see how large. The leg is almost as big as Carrie Kelly is in size comparison to somebody like Batman or a normal DC UC figure. It's about right on par with a normal Collect and Connect. I think it's detailed really good. Now this is New 52 Doomsday, and I've got a couple other pieces here off to the side that I'll show in Batman's review. But Doomsday was a figure that I never got as far as a not even a Build-A-Figure, but just as a normal DC UC figure, or when they did the I think the 2014 version, like their final figure, the 2 Doomsday figures that Mattel released. I never got any of those, and I always kind of regretted not getting it. So now getting like a third chance to get a Doomsday, even though it's not the classic Doomsday, as I throw it around here, I think I am going to complete the whole entire wave. I've kind of just been telling myself that now. And now that I've got 2 of the figures at $5, even if I pay full price for all the other figures, I'm still going to save money on buying the whole wave. So there's that part of Doomsday, and I'll start collecting and well, start connecting the next part of Doomsday in the next part of the review. So let's move along. So now the reason you clicked on this video is for the Carrie Kelly figure. Now you see me messing with the lamppost. The lamppost is from the Dark Knight Returns. It's from the DC Direct set that came with the original Carrie Kelly, the only ever Carrie Kelly at the time. And I'll bring her up to do a size comparison, see how the two work. But I've just recently watched Chapman Films' review, and I've got to agree with just about everything he said. I think this is a perfect figure from Mattel. Aside from like an ab crunch, I understand why they didn't put it on a figure this small. I think it would have turned out really too brittle. And for a lot of us that have been collecting DCUC, yes, we want a good amount of articulation in it, but for the most part, a lot of my figures, and I'm sure probably some of you out there, get them in one pose and they just stay on the shelves. I know I have figures that I've posed, 4 years ago, and they haven't moved on the shelf. So this was a figure I think a lot of people were hoping that we were going to get. I think Chapman Films even said in his review he was hoping at some time Mattel would. I was very surprised they made a Dark Knight Returns Batman and Superman. I thought, well, they're not going to do Carrie Kelly. So I was more on the side of we're probably not going to get one. And when they finally announced that they were doing one, I think it really surprised a lot of people that maybe missed out on the DC Direct version. And now we've got this one. And I actually like this one a lot better than the DC Direct, just for posability. I know going back to the DC Direct figure, it is an older figure, so a lot of the articulation was very limited in that figure. I think she was a tad too small, and I'll show you in a better shot here. But she does come with one accessory, the slingshot. I'll show the slingshot in the DC Direct. They actually had a rubber band type of a thing that was attached at the top, and mine eventually just kind of disintegrated and broke off, so I may have to do something else. But I like that they did this. The DC Direct was nice that you could actually pull the slingshot back and kind of hold it in her hands. You could kind of do it with this one. She doesn't have a open hand to hold it. It's almost as if she's already let it go, and it's kind of like, in the rested position. It's not, taut back. I mean, you could kind of position it just a little bit to, suspension of disbelief that like she is holding it. But she's got the fist here. So I thought this was pretty cool. And the other thing that I like about this that the DC Direct doesn't do is you can see on her belt, she's got a hoop right here. So this is a little hard to get it in her, I guess you could almost say utility belt. Pouch, not really a pouch. So bear with me. So it kind of bends a little bit, and you got to kind of position it like this. So that's the rough thing with this, that it doesn't set in very well. I appreciate the idea for doing that, but I think most people are going to have her posed, you know, with it in her hand. So let's take a look. Let's get into the face. As Chapman Films would say, the face. Look at that face. It's a face that a comic book fan will love. This does look like she, and I'm not trying to keep stealing lines from Chapman Films, but this looks like she did leap right out of the pages of the Frank Miller graphic novel. I think more so than the DC Direct. Love the hair. The glasses are affixed to her face, unlike the DC Direct, which those were removable, although I have never taken mine off. The costume looks really good. I love the big R, which proportionally due to the style of the Frank Miller comic. You know, the Superman logo was really big, the Bat logo was really big, so I liked that the Robin R logo was really big. I had no idea what I was going to say right there. The costume looks really, really good. The thing I love is the long cape. I love the long cape. Never been a fan of the short little cape on Robin figures. The pixie boots, what I love about the pixie boots is you can tell that they were a little too big for her, that they curled up like they did in the comics. That was pretty cool that Mattel took that attention to detail as well. The little scallops on the bottom part of the cape, just a little bit. It's like in the comics, she got the costume from a costume shop. I think later on she did get her own official costume from Batman. So see me messing with the arms here. I've never been a fan of the arms that are like this, where we have an elbow joint, but it's this weird, I had it off frame here, it's this weird elbow joint. So, I mean, it does bend, but it's almost like, feel the power. So, as opposed to being, you know, a normal, I'm just going to bring up Damien because he's right off the side, a normal hinged elbow, like you see here, it's this weird elbow that kind of gets encased in the upper part of the bicep, so it's really kind of odd. And a lot of female figures end up getting this type of elbow for some reason. Not all of them, but actually most in the Mattel line. So I don't know if it's just trying to make the arm look a little bit more slender and not as masculine. So, but from standing on the shelf, I'm not going to be complaining about it too much. And again, I'm glad to have it. Her fists look really large. That's about the only thing on this figure that I think's a little too big. Like her fist should be a little bit smaller. Again, that might be due to them trying to recreate the graphic novel just a little bit. That the novel's a little bit in exaggerated proportions. You might argue that the head is a little bit too big for her body. Not overly too big. But I really like this figure. Of course, being a Robin fan, I knew I had to get her. I think I've said before that I've never read the graphic novel. I know. Shh. Relax. I do own the graphic novel. I bought the 30th anniversary edition of it that came with the DVD, although I already had the DVD. What I really wanted out of it was the bonus feature of the Frank Miller interview, so now I've got 2 copies of it. But neither here nor there. I am going to now finally read it, but I've never been a big fan of Elseworld stories, but the more I watched the movie, I thought, you know what, I really need to read the source material. And it looks like her glove is on backwards. Like her elbow looks... Okay, is it just me? Usually the Robin glove has one spot that's longer if it sticks down. This one looks like that spot that should be sticking down is pointed up. Oh, maybe it's just me. Okay, it's just me. No, I think it is. It's twisted just a little bit. Am I the only one seeing that? All right, Rob, move on. Anyway, let's get into articulation. I'm going to be here forever just talking about the glove. The head does look left to right. I would say it moves up and down, but I think it only moves slightly up and down just because of the ball joint. So I don't think it's intended to look up or down. So not that she really could anyway with the collar that's on the cape. The arms go all the way up on a ball and socket, and you can really see the underside of the ball and socket there. They're carved out a little bit more so the arm goes straight down, which, I mean, kudos to Mattel for doing that. There were plenty of DC-UC figures that they could have done that to, and probably should have done that too, because there are a lot of our DC-UC figures, sometimes their arms only went down that far. So good job, Mattel. She has an elbow swivel and bends at the elbow, which is rather, again, odd. She has a wrist rotation, no swivel there. She has a twist at the wrist, has the classic DC Universe Classics T-jointed legs, so that's cool. Can go forward, actually really pretty far, so if you've got a 6-inch Batmobile, she can sit in it rather well. Should be a bend at the knee, but again, like Chapman Film said, it just doesn't feel like it wants to move. So again, all the Robins that have pixie boots are prone to having broken ankle syndrome. This one feels a little bit more sturdy than the previous Robins do. So even though it looks like it can move, I wouldn't recommend moving it. And again, that's always sad to say that about an action figure. Like, oh, your action figure can move. Well, don't move it. So other than those couple little things, I think this is a really, really good figure. So let's bring up her DC Direct counterpart, and we'll look at the two side by side. All right, here are the two Carrie Kellys side by side. I like this figure. I was real happy to have it, just being that that was the only version of Carrie Kelly at the time. Yeah, the cape's not as long. You can see how short she is, and her head is forever in this turned stage, which is okay. But if I wanted to have her straight on looking, it's this weird. Her head is always tilted to one side. Now I've got her, so it's always leaning to that side. I mean, it's not bad, but at the same time, it is kind of a bummer. I do like that she has the open hand to where, like I said before, the rubber band material was on the slingshot, so you could have her pulled back. Her articulation is fixed at the elbows and knees. That this is all the arms are going to do other than move around. So again, I understand it's DC Direct, but you do want some control over the movement of your action figures. So let's get her in position with Batman, the black and gray version, as I don't have the blue and gray version from Mattel. And these two look really good together. I've been tempted to get the blue and gray version. I think at the time that the first part of the Dark Knight Returns, like 30th anniversary figures, came out, I wasn't really jumping up and down to get Batman or Superman at the time. Now I think with having the Carrie Kelly Robin, and I do have the armored Batman that's just out of frame here, I think I would like to get at least Superman. And if I end up having some extra money and get the blue and gray version of Batman, so be it. But I like this version of Batman. The only thing I'll comment on this one, I do wish he had the blue and gray head where the mouth is, doesn't have that grimacing look, but that's how Batman looked through most of the animated movie, and I've thumbed through the graphic novel, so I can see that he's, like crotchety old Bruce Wayne too. So very cool that the two of these look really good, and they got the size together very well. So I'm glad that I don't have to have this Carrie Kelly posed anymore, because I did think, as everybody's falling, that she was a little too small for the Mattel figure, and I guess the two Kellys don't like each other. So, I mean, it wasn't bad, but I do think it is just a little bit better. So, let's see what Carrie Kelly looks like with the rest of the DC Universe Classic Robin figures so far. And here's Carrie Kelly Robin with Dick Grayson, although some of us say this is Jason Todd, but they were labeling it the classic Dick Grayson. But for argument's sake, Jason Todd, the three Tim Drakes, and then, of course, Damian Wayne down here in the front. And apparently we're getting another Robin figure. I don't know if it's the beginning of next year or the tail end of this year, We're getting a DC Rebirth or DC YOU Damian Wayne figure, which will be really pretty cool. So I hope I'm correct in saying that Mattel is doing that. We'll find out in my editing if an annotation goes across here. It says, "No, Rob, you're wrong." I think we are. I think. She looks great along with the other Robins. Now, one problem that the other Robins had, each of the Robins were not in scale with their predecessors. The Tim Drake Red Robin back here probably should have been in the same body size and mold as the Tim Drake Robins, at least here. These two Robins are in a much older body buck, and I don't mean older like they were, you know, 5 years older in production. I'm just saying they look more in their 20s as opposed to Tim in his, you know, teens, and then up here probably closer to an adult. So Mattel from time to time did get the sizes wrong. Maybe in the wave they were scaled correctly with the other figures that came out, but sometimes Mattel was just like, yep, this is the size of the body that we're gonna put the characters on, and just left it as that. So it is what it is from time to time, but as a whole, she's going to look great. If somebody like me, you pose all of your Robins together, she's going to look really good with the Robin family from Mattel. So it's happy to be able to say that finally every version of Robin has been made so far by Mattel. One could argue that technically we didn't get a Jason Todd Robin, but like I said, most of us just kind of used this one as the example. Final thoughts here. Is this a good pickup? Well, like I said in the beginning of the review, if you can find her for $5, heck yeah, it's a steal. A lot of these figures are coming in on a display, and it's only just the 4 figures. Lex Luthor from Batman vs. Superman, the Creature, the Bat Creature, and or Nightmare Batman, along with the other 4 figures that have been currently released in this wave, being Armored Batman, Doomsday Superman, and CW Supergirl, and Carrie Kelly. So sometimes they'll break the display down and put them on the shelf. So in some cases it's only 1 or 2 per display case, and then a bunch of the other, you know, smaller figures, and I don't get why they're shipping a bunch of those like $9.99 figures are not selling at all. Some Walmarts that I have run into have had a case of them, just like a normal shipping case, so you do get a couple more of each of the figures, generally just more of the couple of the armored Batman. But I think she looks great. Now, if you're going to pay full price for her, is she worth it? I still think so. If you want a Carrie Kelly represented in your DC Universe Classic collection, or you didn't get the DC Direct version, this one would set in very well with the DC Direct figures. Only more importantly just because the DC Direct figure fit in with the Mattel figures. Even though I said she was a little on the small side, so that would mean that the Mattel version is probably just a little on the big side, but would still work. I know at Chapman Films, I think, paid $14 for his, which is still a really good deal. I believe Automatica paid full price for hers, and then I got mine for $5, and the Armored Batman, which will come up in the next review. So I believe it's, for the price, whether it's the $19, the $14, or even the $5, I think is well worth it. And like I said, getting Batman and Robin both for $5, even if I have to buy the other figures at different locations for full price, I've already saved quite a bit of money already. So go out there, check your Walmart. Some are just slow in getting them. And the other thing I found out is they're putting these display cases with these figures in random spots in the toy aisle. Like it may be on a back aisle or end cap. So make sure you check the whole toy section, because I've seen some this past weekend where this display was down by the Barbies. So again, check your whole toy section at Walmart, and for $5 you can't beat it. So today we've been taking a look at the DC Comics Multiverse. This is the New 52 Doomsday Collecting Connect wave, and more importantly, we've been taking a look at the Dark Knight Returns Carrie Kelly Robin. And as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues and the BatmanUniverse.net signing off, saying we will see you guys next time.